We are your election headquarters, and thank you for choosing us this morning. This is the live coverage of the September 2 by-election happening at Akwatia. We're bringing you every detail you do not want to miss. Now, joining me in studio to have this very important conversation or set the tone is Dr. Asa Asante, political scientist, head of European Studies as well at the University of Ghana. Doc, how are you doing? Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, I'm fine, and your good self?
Very well, thank you for asking, Doc. I have been very anticipating of today. And I've seen by-elections, I've read about by-elections, but this one gives me a different kind of kick. I don't know if you feel the same way as well.
Certainly, but I know that the place has been a swing constituency. The two dominant parties, always one of them will carry the day. So I'm looking forward to an election that is supposed to be peaceful. The emphasis is on what? Peace, that we need a peaceful election. Election is not about do or die affair. It's a contest of ideas and referendum of your work. So what are the ideas you have to uplift the image and everything of your people? How do you want to support them? And of course, what are the ideas also you have to push the frontiers of this fragile democracy? And that is all. If you have any records that you want to hop on, we are interested in that. If you don't have, rely on your party's one and show to the people that this is the man or the woman that we need to give our vote to. That is all. So cutlasses don't matter there. Guns do not matter. Bullets do not matter.
Okay.
All that matters is what? Ideas.
We'll get into the ideas. We'll get into how far you'd assess how far the Security Electoral Commission, everything that's been happening, the pre, the during, and what you anticipate the post to be like. But let me get in touch with my colleague Collins Frimpong, who is on ground. Collins, if you can hear me, tell me where you are and what's it looking like on ground.
All right, so Emma,
then it would be Jackie then. Jackie, of course, I've got the creme de la creme instead. Jackie, where are you? I understand that you are in Takasi, is that correct?
Yes, Semefa. So currently I'm at Takasi, and this is the area where the NDC candidate comes from. Well, polls has already opened. One person has already been here to vote. We're just waiting for more people to come. But then one key thing we've noticed in the area is security. I mean, there's tight security everywhere. You see a lot of policemen around, a lot of police vehicles patrolling the area to make sure that everything is safe. But then we're hoping that this safety, measurement is actually moving through the whole area. But let me just pan my camera behind for you to have a look at how the polling station here is. So this is the polling station here at the Methodist Church, Ghana, Ebenezer Society, Takasi. But then we also have information that the NDC candidate, he also votes in this very area. I mean, it's just right down the road, Takasi Senior High School. We're moving there pretty shortly to MFA.
Okay. Have you picked up the sentiments of voters at Takasi? Is it that he only votes from there, or he comes from there? Any other unique thing from about Takasi as well?
Well, MFA, he comes from here, and he also votes here. And prior to coming to this very polling station, we engaged a couple of the constituents in the Takasi area, and we asked them what they know about the candidates, and most of them were talking about the NDC candidates, that he comes from here, he also votes here, talking about a couple of stuff that they know about him. So those are the two things that we know so far about the NDC candidate here.
Right. Jackie, the Electoral Commission has been quite vocal about this particular by-elections. They've been assuring that they will make sure that it is a free and fair elections. They are also quite prepared on all fronts and all levels. What's your assessment of the Electoral Commission representatives over there this morning at Takasi?
Well, Enifa, this is nothing that this isn't something that we haven't seen before. Just a few months ago, we saw the same thing at Ablekuma North. The situation here is no different. I mean, the process here is no different. Once they started the election here, or once polls opened, it was the same routine exercise There isn't anything different from the previous elections that we've witnessed or we've covered. So there's nothing different from what we've witnessed so far.
Okay. All right, Jackie, thank you for bringing us updates. Well, are people queuing already?
Well, MFA, so just as you can see in the cameras, before I came on live, one person had already voted. So currently, you see two people in there queuing to cast their ballot here at the Takasi Methodist Church, Ghana.
Well, are people making their choices? Who do you think is at least winning at that particular electoral area?
You know, MFA, that is a very interesting question, because before my car got here, we spoke to roughly about 3 people, and all that they were saying was that, oh, I mean, it's an NDC candidate, and you could understand because he comes from this very area, Takasi. So most of the conversation, I'm yet to meet a resident here who says otherwise.
Right. Thank you so much, Jackie. We'll be coming to you every moment as well for updates from Takasi as well and its environs. Thank you. Doc, we have just touched base with a community that one of the candidates would come from as well. And you've heard my colleague give us the sentiments and how it feels like in that constituency or that electoral area, I should say. Listening to her, what would you say?
She's on the ground, and we are here to experience what is happening. But one thing I know about the constituency is that it's a constituency of people native Achems and that of also people from other ethnic groups there. Because of mining, it has attracted a lot of people to the area for a very long time. And then because of what education, they have the St. Rose's school there, and it attracts a whole lot of people there. So it's one of the interesting areas, and that is why you see election going the way they do, because if you take very normal, Achim areas, only few that you have swing. Yes, they vote in a particular direction. But this because of the demography and, other factors, that is changing the chemistry a little bit. So anytime you go in for election there, you should, until the final whistle, I'm not sure you can beat your chest and say that you are there. You are certainly not there until the end of what polls. So I am looking forward to an interesting contest. Remember that the last election, the margin between the MPP candidate and NDC candidate was very narrow. So it tells you that there are lots, and we are yet to see. People who have the view that once you lose somebody, there's a sympathy. I can say without fear of contradiction that when you study literature and voter choices, sympathy have very little or no place in election. Even though we share and mourn with the family which had lost a member, we as Ghanaians, that's our compatriot we have lost. But in election, people look at things that satisfy their interest. If you read Dan's theory about rational choice theory, it gives you an idea that people are rational and they choose things that would improve their lot. So it's not an issue of sympathy, arrogance, and the rest of them. No, it is a few people who think that is what sways people's vote. What does the trick is your messaging, which resonates with the people. We have messages that are national in nature or character, economy, and the rest of them. But we have constituency-specific issues. If you lose sight of this, I'm afraid you'll be thrown into the lake of fire. Right.
I hope that people do not want to be thrown into the lake of fire. There's so much to discuss on this particular day of election, but co-captain on this ship this morning is Isaac Kofi Ejay, and he's going to be crunching the numbers, putting a better perspective to the by-election that's happening today at Akwatia. Kofi, always good to see you. And you look really nice.
Thank you.
All suited up.
Well, so this is going to be a very interesting by-election. Why? Because this will be our 34th by-election in the Fourth Republic, and it will be interesting to see who wins this. Many have said that but NDC already has supermajority if they include Tamale Central, an MPP already doesn't really have, more than 100 members of parliament. So why is this important? For the NDC, if they are able to win Akwatia, that will be an extra member of parliament for a super majority. And for the NPP, if they are able to win this seat, it sends a signal that, well, they are not done yet, or they are not all down. They are capable of winning election even in, circumstances that do not favor the party. And so these will be the candidates for the election. It is interesting that the NDC decided to change their candidates, who run for the 2024 main election. But let's go through the numbers to look at Akwatia in general. And in fact, what do we know so far? It's been 57 days since the demise of NS Kumi, unfortunate incident there, where he adds to that equation of members of parliament who lost their lives while serving. But after that 57 days, we need to have a by-election, because the Constitution says that within 60 days, that must be done. And we are within that time. Today will be the 57 days since his demise, and that's why we are having a by-election. But this is an interesting constituency that many have said that, well, although it's situated in the eastern region, nobody actually has a strong hold on this a constituency, because if you look at the past 9 elections, you've seen the NPP winning 5, NDC 3. With if you look at the other election, if you add what happened in 2024 to it, so that's the distribution. It makes it a very, very close contest today, and this is one of the constituencies that in one or a certain election in 2016. Voted for, a professional hairdresser. You remember Amase came into that picture in 2016. So it tells you that, just like Doc said, this is a constituency that they are looking out for their interests, and they are very particular. They really want somebody that can put their interests across. That is why we have that pattern of votes. So you see Amase there, and the NDC, Baba Jamal, also winning it. So just within this 4 election cycles, you can see that NDC has actually won 2, with the MPP also winning 2. So that shows you, or that tells you, that this is going to be a keenly contested, by-election in Akwatia. We have more numbers that I would want to show you to tell the stories behind the numbers. How many voters are we expecting in terms of the polling station? Which areas should we even focus on? The demography of that area, another voting pattern of Akwatia, which is the Denchembo district. We'll come back to that. More data for you after you are back with your analysis.
Definitely, Isaac, stay with me. Now, we'll take you to Kojo Brace, who is currently at Boedwa in the Akwatia constituency. Kojo, what's going on there?
MFR, everything is fine here in Boedwa.
Here in Boedwa, the election started exactly at 7 a.m. at the Boedwa lorry terminal. We also have the Boedwa bus terminal there. The place is very calm. You can see that I can count no less than 14 police personnel around the polling station here. It tells you the sort of attention the police is given to this particular election, and all of them, all the police personnel look very attentive. They know what they're doing. If you see how they are standing by, looking on the process, some of them looking around to understand or gauge the mood, it tells you that the police is attending to this particular election process with all the seriousness that they can marshal. I've just turned into the Director of Elections for the MPP, Evans Nemakwe, and I want to pick his thought on what is in. Grateful to you, sir. You've been here, you've been watching the process. What do you make of what you've seen so far?
I think so far, early days, EC setup, well done. Election has started, presence of the police as well as you, the media. And so we have stakeholders around. We expect to have a very peaceful exercise. I heard you making the comment that the presence of the police, there are 119 polling stations. We expect to have police presence in all these polling stations, and for police to ensure that security is assured. You know, it's election related security. It's mainly the Electoral Commission. We had some concerns. We discussed with the police, and we know that today all the issues will be well dealt with for us to have a very peaceful exercise. We look forward to have peaceful arrangement. We are very much confident that at the end of this exercise, our candidate, Solomon Kwame Sumendu, will emerge victorious.
But let's talk a bit about border security, because you mentioned earlier that you had concerns from the beginning. I mean, we've met police presence all the way from where we are coming from. What do you make of it? What's your confidence level in the security service that you see here?
Yeah, so in terms of Akwatia and Buedua environs, you realize that, yes, there's huge security police presence. You don't see the same when you move into the hinterland, the Wenchi, the Takasi, Abenasi area. So that's what we're expecting, that we will have equal representation, fair representation in all these places. As usual, I mean, there must be peace, peaceful environment created to allow people to cast their votes. And the impression must not be created that it is only Buedua and Akwatia. What I'm not too
unfortunately, I'm coming from Wenchi.
Okay.
Huge police presence. All the way on our way, we met the police vehicles. You constantly are meeting police presence.
There's peace around. Too much of the movement on the road. You know, Buedua and Akwatia is also a busy town, and so if we are not careful with some movement, it could create other problems. We expect everybody to be professional in his or her conduct. That's what the New Patriotic Party is expected from all stakeholders, including you, the media, to make sure that attention is controlled and not unnecessary comment from people that will jeopardize the peace we have.
What are you picking from your eyes in the other areas?
Oh, I think like
election started from all police stations so far.
Yeah, for the 3 polling stations I've been, elections have started. When I started, they were setting up because they must start at 7, and they couldn't have started when it wasn't 7 a.m. So for those 3 polling stations I've visited, yes, I'm appreciative of the setup.
Evans, I'm grateful.
Thank you very much for having me.
So that's Evans Nimakoda. He is in charge of elections for the opposition New Patriotic Party. But MFA, I must state that at this polling station where I am, the Buedua Lorry station, we're expecting some 624 people to cast their votes here today. I mean, as I can see so far, the process is really going on smoothly. We'll try and engage some other people here at this particular area to understand what they do make of the process. I see the media fairly represented here. I see, the voters also here going through the process. And you can really tell that people are determined to be part of this particular process. Let me try and speak to someone I see in the John Mahama shed. He's been here since I came. Let me try and pick his thought about what he makes of the process. Chief, I'm grateful to you. I mean, I can see clearly you're an NDC person. Do you vote here in this constituency?
I don't vote here. Okay. I mean, I came from Accra to observe the proceedings today. Okay. So we are here to monitor the election, how it's going to be like. Okay.
I mean, I saw you when we landed here. How long have you been here, and what do you make of the process so far?
Oh, we've been here around 5:30 a.m. just to make sure that we have to be here before the materials arrived and everything went on very smoothly. Yeah, so we'll be here to make sure that we have a peaceful elections in this constituency.
In terms of security, what's your own assessment?
Oh yes, I think that we are so impressed. Look at them, not only here, most of the police stations that we came from to this place. I think that the security is on top of their issues, and it's okay for us.
Thank you very much, sir. So there you have it. Someone who's been here since dawn to monitor the process and his viewpoint about what he's seen so far. MFA, I have to say that, I mean, if you come here, nothing would let you know that maybe this is this hotly contested race that we had prior to coming here. There's calm, absolute calmness here in this area, and so I have to say that from the early days we have to commend all parties associated. Well, I just saw the Director of Corporate Affairs of Ghana Gas, who is also the Communications Officer of the NDC for the Western Region, Richard Kekmesa, just dropped in here. Richard, how are you?
Fine.
How many polling stations have you been to so far, and what's your assessment?
This is my 4th polling station. I think the atmosphere is very calm, very serene atmosphere this morning. And from what I'm seeing, it's going to be one of the most peaceful by-elections we have witnessed as a country. The people understand that they need to vote, and they have welcomed everybody in this constituency. And the simple message, irrespective of the political coloration, is that they want peace. So if the people of Akwatia are preaching they want peace, I don't think they will entertain any class from outside the constituency to bring any form of violence here. And the police presence also has put some level of fear into any group of people who want to perpetrate any form of violence. So I vouch for a very peaceful election in Akwatia. The weather is not too friendly, but I think it's all part of the calmness and the serene environment we find ourselves this morning.
And from the areas you are coming from, you said this is your 4th polling station. The election has started in all of them.
Yes.
Started on time?
On time. Exactly. The first polling station that I went, exactly 7, I saw the first woman casting the vote. And from the subsequent one to when I got there, it was past 7 and the elections had already started. It's going smoothly and very calm. People just walk in, just go and vote and go to do their daily chores. So you don't see long queues at the police station. But I think the people will come out. Not as the general elections turn out, but I think it will be a very good election.
I mean, I don't know how many days you've been here, but do you think this election is yours?
The NDC. It is. Akwatia is already green. It's green. The pollsters are predicting 52, but I am predicting about 54%. It will be huge. Yes. Yes, for a lawyer. What I've seen and the people I spoke to, the whole of this dawn, and when you go to the police station and even get closer to the people, they will tell you that I am MPP, but because of development, let's vote for an NDC candidate, because they believe that the government of the day has much to do with development than an opposition government.
Okay. So that's Richard Kekmesa. I'm grateful to you for speaking to us.
Thank you.
He is the NDC's Regional Communications Officer for the Western Region. We'll try and engage some more people here. And I am here with Blessed Soga, with Kosi Azo. We'll try and get you much more on this particular process. So viewers would have to be with us here as we try to get you, a 360 coverage of this particular election. I'll bring in Kosi Azo, who is with our sister station at Dome FM, to help us, understand the sort of terrain we are in and what to expect in this particular election, because he has been covering this particular constituency for some time now. Azo, thank you for that wonderful work you've been doing since we came in. You've been here. This is your forte.
Yes.
What is the characteristic of this particular polling station and the other one over there?
This is Buedria Lorry Station A and B. The incidents here, they are currently Muslims and a little Achem and Krobo and Eves. Looking at their backgrounds, I think last 4 years we had a little misunderstanding here. So the police, they centered here that hot spots. This very area was a hot spot which is 2024 elections and 2020 elections as well. So
Yeah.
the security here, I'm not surprised that there's a lot of security here. I asked the one in charge, and she told me that there are about 10 policemen here, but now they have increased the police personnel. They have yes, cause here is hotspots. Anything can happen here. This area is one of the hotspots at Akwatia Constituency, Lorry Station. They have recorded numerous, misunderstanding and electoral violence in this very area. That's why the police and the military are here. I'm not also surprised that there's not a long queue. They will come. A lot of them are traders, miners, and sometimes they prefer going to their sites, work, and come in the afternoon. So they will be coming. Yes. We will see a long queue around 11, 12 that way. Yeah, they will be coming.
So around 12 going, we'll begin to see the queues forming. But give us the generality of the constituency itself. This is Bodua. From here we go to Akwatia, which is also, we understand, is a hotspot. Akwatia Lorry Station A and B, we're told, is a hotspot. Akwatia Mosque, we understand, is also, they call Abuja Mosque also. Yoruba Mosque, is also a hotspot. So really, what do you expect the police to do in this area? Because this is Bodua, this is Akwatia, and all the areas are hotspot. What do you expect the police to do with your knowledge of this area?
Let me give a brief background of this polling station. I hope you remember, if you can recall, there was an incident, 6 polling stations elections, when Honorable Ahmed Babajama and Dr. Kofi Asare, during their elections, we were told that we heard that people snatched the ballot box at Akwatia. So those areas, the polling station you've mentioned, those areas, they are the hot spots at Akwatia now. Akwatia Lorry Station, A and B, Yoruba Mosque, AME Zion, and I think there's another one too. The place is typical Akwatia. The Muslims, the Evers, they are combined over there. They have also recorded a lot of electoral violence at that polling station. So the police are there. The military or the police has to be extra careful at that place. Yes, that place is a hotspot. Yeah.
In terms of strongholds, we understand that the MPP stronghold is Wonchi because of NSC Alkumi. Yeah. We're also now learning that Bodua, where we're standing, Bodua, has become sort of a stronghold for them because of their candidate, Solomon Asumedu, who comes from this particular town. So run us through you want to say the places where these two political parties will reign in these areas, apart from the 2 that I've mentioned.
Okay, let's start from Jonase. Jonase, maybe the candidate, the MPP candidate from this very town, might have changed. I can't tell for now, unless we are done with the election. Maybe that can change, or maybe that is why they pick their candidate from this very town. It is 50-50. Basically, sometimes all these police stations that we are here sometimes go for the NDC. It goes for the NDC. So, stronghold, then let's go to NSC Akumi's town. It's basically for the MPP. Then come to Takasi. It's also another 50-50. Takasi is where the comes from. It's also 50-50. From Takasi, then let's move to Kusi. Kusi to that particular town. They vote based on the candidature of whoever is coming. If you're NDC and you do a lot of projects for them, they will vote for you. If you're an MPP and you do projects for them, they will vote for you. That is Kusi for you. Then Takrasi too, that other one too, they have their own dynamics of voting and as well. But when you say stronghold, it is Wenchi, Jenase, Aparamai, Toparamai, then other little places. Yes.
As well, I'm grateful to you. I can see that. I don't want to get you, so thank you. Let's now bring in the MP for Tema West, to try and get his viewpoint. So he's the MP for my area, I'm not mentioning to him the community I live in, but that's my MP. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm good by the grace. Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm well.
I'm happy to meet you since you live in my constituency.
So,
West constituency.
Exactly,
yes.
yeah. But the place is nice anyway.
Yes. The industrial city.
Exactly. You've been here for some time.
Yes.
How many police stations have you gone to, and what's your assessment?
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, this is my first station. From here, I will move to the Bodia Presby School. So far, I've gone rounds at a few places, and I think that so far the situation is calm. Everything is going on as planned. To be frank, I've not witnessed any untoward incident so far, and a lot of the places that I pass through, I noticed that voting is ongoing, process is peaceful. I've seen a lot of police presence around, which also guarantees that there will be security and peaceful elections. So far, I think that everything is good.
Wonderful. I mean, before coming here, what was your, thought about the constituency? And since coming in, how does that situate to what you had in mind before coming?
Okay, having followed the proceedings leading to these elections, for me it was clear that the police had put in place all the necessary structures to ensure that the election is peaceful. And since I came, I think that expectation has been met, because I followed a number of the operational strategies that were rolled out as far as these elections are concerned. And when I got to the ground, I noticed that indeed the police have done exactly what they said they were going to do. And I think that has guaranteed the peaceful process that we have witnessed so far. So I think that my expectations have been met as far as the operational network and the process is concerned. Yeah.
Now, if Akwatia people are watching us now, we know it's been peaceful so far. What would be your message to the Akwatia people who are watching us now?
Yeah. Of course, I'm NDC, so I'm also here to support my party. And in Chi, I say, so what I want to tell the people of Akwatia is that they should go for Bediaku. Yes, because his father is on the seat, and that will also help for him to be able to get, development for the people of Akwatia.
I was even looking for peace.
Of course, I've spoken about peace already.
I want you to speak to them. They are watching all of us now.
So, of course, as a country, we are one people, we are one nation, and we need peace. There can be development only when there is peace. So I think that is paramount, that is fundamental. We cannot compromise with that. So even as we go into elections, even as we contest each other, the bottom line is that we are one people, one nation with a common destiny. Yeah.
I'm grateful to you, sir.
Thank you.
But what's your name?
So my name is Lawyer James Eno, MP, Tema West.
Exactly. Yeah. My MP, so I had to give him some time. I'm grateful. Okay, so we also have the MP for Domas Central here. Domas Central, well, I'll ask you that question later, but is this your first center as well?
Yes, that's my first center.
Okay.
We arrived just this morning, and we had to do the searching and looking at where our command centers are, so we will be assigned to.
Okay. And so far, what's your assessment?
Oh, so far so good, very peaceful, because if you're out there, you think the hell is breaking down here, but you come here, everything is very peaceful. I think it's good, and organization has been perfect, except that the police presence is also huge. Everywhere you go, per each polling station, I'm not counting less than 6-7 police officers, and for me, it's good. The other side of the coin might be that somebody thinks it's also intimidating some of the voters, but for me, their protection is most important.
And you expect this to continue, of course?
Yes, of course, yes. I want this thing to continue, even not only here, into the next elections, because the system is good.
Okay. Give us your full name.
My name is John Kwame Edujak,
okay.
Domas Central.
All right, Honorable. I'm grateful to you for speaking to us. Thank you. Now let me bring you the surprise here, and then we can come to you in studio. A lot of people don't know, but you know what? The man, Blessed Suka, is here. Blessed. So, I mean, what's your own assessment of what you've seen here since you came in?
I mean, since last night, the number of
police officers that the IGP has deployed here gives you a sense of what's at stake. You would ordinarily expect that, well, it's a by-election, the circumstance under which we are replacing this deceased MP would give some sort of mood of calmness or sobriety, but you're not finding that in these elections. It's as though the two main political parties are still slugging it out and trying to, take the seat. So there's a lot at stake here. All we are on the lookout for is security, because at the end of the day, we want a peaceful poll. And you can tell from the atmosphere that it's getting busy already from where we are. And high representation from Parliament from across the aisle, minority, majority side, giving you an indication clearly that it's going to be a very long day and there might be some surprise elements at the end of the day. But we also just need to point out that we're on the Joy Prime channel as well, because our colleagues there are also piping the live visuals for us. So wherever you're watching us from, we're glad that you're doing that. Stay with us on your election headquarters, and we'll be bringing you all the live pictures as and when we have them. I just saw the IGP pass by some few minutes ago, so he's up to the task. He knows what's at stake. We're waiting to see what the outcome will be. But, a lot of political parties, rank and file of the parties are here, and we wait to see what the outcome will be, Brace.
Yesterday we spoke to the IGP when he was giving a final briefing to his men, and one thing he said that really got to me was, we are here to ensure nobody misbehaves. And the instruction to his men were, make sure you tame anybody who will misbehave. And the sort of artillery they showed gave you that confidence that, look, this election, the police is on top of its game.
They are not taking chances at all, you can tell. And I don't know what's bringing that high stakes for the political parties. I think we need to ask them some more why they are so interested in the Akwatia seat. But probably it's because of the contention even around the last elections within the constituency. Because, mind you, the NDC was claiming that they were the ones who actually won this constituency. So probably a test of their popularity in the area, just to be sure and to see whether or not indeed if the people of Akwatia will give them that nod. But the MPP says, look, it's our zone. We were, of course, running the show here until the unfortunate demise of the MP. So they are going to be slugging it out. You've seen the MPs. We've spoken to a number of them. Coming all the way from Tema West to this place tells you that they're in for the game. We've seen some, leading figures of the NDC also arrive this morning.
I saw comfort, do you?
Indeed. So that tells you that leadership of the NDC is also here and they are on board. We'll be speaking to more of them shortly.
All right, so do stay with us. This is your election headquarters, and we promise that whatever happens here in this particular election, we'll bring that to you here for you. So, MFA, over to you in the studio.
Of course, you want to stay with us here at your election headquarters. You won't miss anything at all. Now, joining me as well before we pick up on that analysis that Isaac Kofi had started, crunching the numbers, giving us the understanding of that particular electoral area. Joining me as well is Professor Smart Sapon, Director Research and Innovation, Kumasi Technical University. And for Security Conversation, we've got Victor Doke. He is Security Analyst. We get everything that you need to know. So Dr. Victor Doke, thank you so much for joining us as well. Prof and Two Dogs, thank you so much. Well, Kofi, so we were on crunching the numbers and why this constituency is a place that people must understand its temperature from when it even started at all to where we are now.
In fact, this is an interesting constituency because even in the 2024 election that the NPP won, they won with over 2,000 votes, right? And many were expecting that the NDC will maintain their candidate, Henry Boache, who contested in 2024. But interestingly or surprisingly, he has been changed. And many have said that that could be that strategic element in this election. But for the NPP, they've decided to stick with Ernest. Ernest Kumi has lost his life, and the new candidate is in the seat. And many have said that, well, you didn't go through primaries to elect Bernard. And so that could be another factor here. But we understand that both parties have chosen their candidates in a strategic manner to actually contest for this election. But let's look at Akwatia in itself. What are we expecting in terms of the numbers? Many are talking about the 119 polling station. But if you look at the official ballot statistics that the EC released in the 2024 election, we're talking about 120 polling stations. We don't know if certain polling stations have been merged, but that is what we got from the EC's official ballot statistics. And this is the number of voters that we are expecting over 52,000 registered voters. And MFA, if you look at Akwatia or the Denchembo district, according to the 2021 population housing census, we have about over 77,000 population of that area. So if 52,000 of them are registered voters, it tells you that that is a constituency that most of the voters possibly do not reside in there. So it will be interesting to see who will be able to possibly buzz those who are currently out of the constituency to come and vote. So, in today's election, turnout will be very, very important, because comparing 52,000 to an entire district of 77,000, it tells you that a higher proportion of that constituency or that district are registered voters, and that also will mean that majority or a significant component of that registered voters possibly are out of the constituency, and who will be able to bring them in will be important. Turnout for me is the name of the game in this election. We saw that play out in Ablekuma North. The turnout wasn't very good, and that affected both political parties. Today, that element will also play out, because even though we are talking about over 52,000 registered voters, per our calculation, the last election that brought the NPP that win, it had a turnout of 69.7%. Many say that, well, this is good because this was higher than the national average. But if we are using this close to about 70% turnout, then it simply means that we will be expecting a little over 36,000 people to turn out and vote. And you heard all of them saying that Bodia and other stations. Why is that important? Because if you look at the 119 or 120 polling stations, almost all the Bodia polling stations have over 600 registered voters. So it makes those areas battlegrounds. If you go to a place like Wenchi, for instance, which many have said that is a stronghold of the NPP, if you rank, that has the highest number of registered voters, over 700 expected voters to vote in the Wenchi, polling station. But Bodia, in fact, all the polling stations there are over 600 registered voters. It will be interesting to see what happens in that battleground as well. But, going forward, this is the reason why this is important, because this is the makeup of Parliament. We'll come back to analyze that, but it's important to look at the picture of Akwatia. How has Akwatia been voted? And if you look at it from 1992 or 1996 going, what you realize is that Akwatia has been through all the phases. It's been, a bellwether state. It's been a swing. It's been all. If you look at 1996 to 2004, it was a bellwether state. Why is this important? A bellwether constituency. This is important because if you look at 1996, the NDC won that election. Akwatia voted for an NDC candidate. 2000, the NPP won. They voted for the NPP candidate. Then in 2004, they voted for the NPP, who also won the national election. In 2008 was when Akwatia began changing its stance, where the NPP, although lost the 2008 election, they, for the first time, voted for an opposition party, voted for a member of parliament who came to the House without his party being in power. In 2008, they changed. They decided to go back to their old lab by voting for the winner. And it became a swing there, 2012, where he voted for the NDC, and then the NDC also won. But the margin of win in 2008 and 2012, as you can see, very, very small, very, very close election. That was when Akwatia became a very interesting battleground in terms of parliamentary election. But 2016, something happened. A constituency that had a very, very close, battle had its picture changed in 2016. In 2016, they decided to also remain bellwether by voting for the winner. And you can see that the NPP won, and that is the highest after, in all of the election, 57.2%. So as we speak now, the NPP has that record of obtaining the highest number of votes or percentage of votes in Akwatia, 57.2%, and that happened in 2016. And in fact, you see the gap very, very, wide, creating almost that diamond shape there. And Akwatia, we know, is known for diamonds as well. So it moves from a very, keenly contested constituency to one that voted for the NPP with about more than 57% of the vote. Then in 2020, something happened. Akwatia went back to what it did in 2008. Where it began to vote for, or it decided to vote for the party that lost power. And in fact, all the, 2020, you see Akwatia voting for the NDC, although the NDC didn't win the national election in terms of presidential election. Akwatia decided to stay with the NDC. And in 2024, NS Kumi, may so rest in peace, won that seat back for the NPP with 52.8%. And you can see that the margin there is also very wide. And it will be interesting to see what will happen in terms of the trends. Interesting trends that we see there, MFA.
Kofi, we'll get back to this, but it will take you back on grounds as we see the minority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, addressing media.
It's too early to comment, right? Let's do some few rounds there. We'll come back.
But what's your expectation and what message do you have for the people of Akwatia? Right.
And we'll try and get that back for you, but you saw in your shots earlier that the minority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, with the media trying to get him to speak as well. And I also saw the NPP, or you may have seen the NPP's General Secretary as well, who wasn't really ready to comment, but we'll definitely try and get more from the ground for you. But Kofi, let's stay on this analysis, and we'll come back to our guest in the studio, but let's stay here a little. Take me back to 2008, which I think was what gave birth to the kind of temperature we have in Akwatia now. It will be that 2008 election that gave birth to the 2009 rerun. The Electoral Commission actually requested for 6 rerun, and it will be that election that, it was the 2008 one that what was the challenge? Why did the Electoral Commission call for a 6 polling stations rerun, and how did that change the temperature of Akwatia elections? Because you would see that it's the only time that Akwatia became one of that most talked about hotspots. Give me that breakdown of
in fact, you heard our team on grounds talking about ballot snatching. It was in 2008 that Akwatia saw that element where, as a result of that, we had to do a rerun of 6 polling stations. The NPP, although that parliamentary candidate after 7 lost his life in an accident, won in that election as well. And that, as you said, changed the outlook of Akwatia to one that will always remain bellwether constituency by voting for the winner. It decided to change. And that has been the story of Akwatia so far, remaining as a hotspot. But we saw it going back to giving big margins to the winning party in 2016. Then it closed again in 2020. We remember Baba Jamal came in after 2008, won in 2012, but lost to Amase in 2016 and all of that. So Akwatia is an interesting, concept. But let's go ahead and do more analysis, and you will see why this is important. If Prince can give me the next slide. But
while you take the next slide, I will just go to Dr. Sasanti, that for the Akwatia constituency, what has been the factors that have culminated for it to be a hotspot? And I cringe to use the word hotspot, but it's election, and then I'd have to use it anyway. What are all the other? Has it always been just because of the hybrid nature of their ethnicity? Our colleague on ground was just telling us that you find Evers there, you'd find Muslims there, you find Achims over there. How has this come together to make it a hotspot?
When you look at the demography there, it gives you a sense of the people living there and their interest. Remember, mining has been one of the main occupations of the people there. Big mining going on since time immemorial. So it attracted a whole lot of people to the place. So it diluted, if you like, the groups there, that ordinarily one would have thought that you will see pure Achim people living there. But because of the economic, advantage in that area, people from other walks of life also moving to make a living. So the situation has changed in terms of those who reside there, who work there and all that. So that is also a factor. More so when you are looking at it also from the perspective that you are in the area of the eastern region, and then in Achim vote in a certain fashion, all right, and more supportive of the cause of the MPP. So once you see, groups coming in there, then it gives you an idea that the if you like, foreigners, for purpose of this conversation, in there, the numbers are growing, and interests become what? Very diverse. Whilst indigenes will be looking for something else, those who have come for economic livelihood, to improve the economic livelihood, also have their desires and all that. And it changes the chemistry. You can extend the conversation to other areas of the country where economic activities are, the dynamics change. Look at Accra, for instance. It's an area for everybody. So you realize that when you tend to have a place like that, you obviously have what? Different interests coming at play than typical traditional area where, they are mostly all the natives who are there. Their sense of, needs are always different from when
that's an interesting perspective here, but let me bring in Dr. Doke, especially about security. Generally, what kind of security challenges will the security personnel face for such a constituency? One constituency, it is a swing constituency. One constituency, it's a bellwether constituency as well. It has all other factors, different tribes, different reasons why voters will make a choice. I mean, of course, you see that other constituencies will have similar traits, but this one as well, and knowing its history, what kind of a security challenge are they likely to face?
Oh, thank you very much. Good morning to the viewers also. So I think, first of all, we're talking about the quantum of personnel that have been deployed there, first of all. Irrespective that you have some personnel in Akwatia enclave itself, most of the personnel there are from Accra and other regions. So those in Akwatia would definitely know the terrain. Now, those who are not dominant or domiciled in Akwatia itself would have some challenges in regards to the places they've been posted to. So I think one of the ways we can overcome the challenges of these personnel who are not familiar with the areas where they are being posted to is to blend them with those who are domiciled in Akwatia, so that those who are domiciled in Akwatia could be of guide to those who are not. Now, aside that, you would tend to think that when you post people there, the reason why they went earlier is one, also to familiarize themselves with the environment. And that's very key. And we got to know about the IGP and his men going through the community, announcing their presence. It's one of the ways also to identify areas where, there are hotspots and how to respond to them in mechanisms or whatever that they need to do. So all these factors coming, but ideally, some of the challenges, as I've mentioned, is those who are not domiciled will have some challenges with regards to knowing the area. So to overcome that, they need to blend it with those who are domiciled there. Now, another issue is how to navigate with regards to responding to emergencies. And that's why they have the command center there. So by now, they should have mapped out areas, routes to take to respond to emergencies and whatnot. So challenges may be minimal from where I sit, but if the cards are not played well, they would have themselves to blame.
Prof, let me have your attention on, if you look at the analysis that Isaac Kofi has been doing this morning, all through from 1996, we're just about going to 2024, which has occasioned this conversation. What's that one particular trait of voter turnout that you see that may have happened in 1996? You're likely to see that trait as well happened in 2004. And I mean, 2024. Now, this is a by-election, but what familiar trait would you find in voter turnout?
Well, thank you so much.
what I foresee is the usual not so much attractive turnout. What pulls, one thing to add to what Dr. Asante said, that pulls the people of Akwatia to the polls is the presidential. He says that fundamentally they are chimps, even though they have welcomed a lot of settlers due to the activities over there. And you check the data and you realize that with the exception of 1996, that His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings won. From then till date, as for presidential, the MPP wins all.
Okay.
All right, so they are more attracted to the polls by the presidential elections more than the parliamentary. In fact, from the data, parliamentary elections appears to be a matter of relationship between the people and the candidates that the parties do elect. If the candidates elect people that do not resonate much with them, not a grassroots person, they don't tend to bother. So always there's that huge gap between the presidential turnout and the parliamentary turnout.
Okay.
So some even get to the polls, but they vote only the presidential and they ignore the parliamentary. That's the kind of people we are talking about. And so they are primarily chimps, like you said, and they are likely to vote for MPP, except that they get interested and you check the results. It's been 4-4 or 5-4, so close. So it tells you it's the parliamentary candidate that does the difference. Else they were chimps and they're likely to go the way they go. So today, with the situation we have at hand, no presidential,
yes,
only parliamentary.
Yes.
I pray they come out to vote.
It will be not so of a novel situation, but quite a novel situation as well. Okay. Anyway, Kofi, so yeah, let's continue with the breakdown as well.
Geography of Akwatia, and we need to use data to tell that story as well, to back what our guests have actually said. This is what we are picking from the 2021 population and housing census of the Denchembour district, right? And that is where Akwatia is the capital, of that district. And predominantly, as you can see in blue, the Akans dominate Akwatia with about 66% of the, the groups there. And the reason why this is important is that it's a cocktail of, other tribes, where even you have Evers now about 16.8%. In the 2010 population houses, it wasn't so. Akans were more than 70% of that. And you can see that a lot has actually changed because it's a mining area attracting people from all parts of the country, and that is also contributing a lot to that. If you look at the Ganangbe, right?
Hang on. From research, the number that is increased in terms of ethnicity, is it that people migrated or people just got into marriages and then the numbers increased? Which one do you foresee has contributed to the increase in percentage? Which one do you foresee?
Yeah, both. Because human beings are always moving. So some people in Akwatia may be moving out to elsewhere, and then
others might be coming in.
Okay, all right.
I mean, so it's a district or constituency that has very interesting background in terms of the profile of the people who live there, where if you look at it, other tribes they contribute about 11.4% of that population. And so it will be interesting to see how this will influence the outcome of today's election. And that's why you see that those who are on the ground will tell you that these areas are for the MPP, these areas are for the NDC, because of the demography of the polling stations or the areas that the elections are being held. There are places that you go that are typically NPP or NDC. There are places that you go that have that, ways of diversity. They change in terms of who possibly is contesting. So Akwatia is an area that is 7 out of 10 of the people who live there are Akans. And so it will be interesting to see what that will also happen. And in fact, the reason why Akwatia is a very nuanced, voters there are very nuanced, is that their literacy rate is about 77.2%. And the reason why you have an ultramodern DVLA, even in Akwatia, which the president actually launched or revealed somewhere, Sunday, is that look at aside from the 77.2% who have the high literacy rate, Akwatia is also known for a place that has the services sector contributing 48.3% of the employment there. And agric is about 35.2%. You have industry being around 16.5%. Maybe you have said that this is a mining area, so the industry side should be about, let's say, 30% or so. But services sector, it means that it is increasingly becoming an urban constituency. And a lot of the services are actually also moving to Akwatia. And if you want to find out why they are so complex in terms of the direction they vote, where they've been bellwether before, they've been swing before, they've been all manner of factors in election because they have a very, very high literacy rate. 8 out of 10 of Akwatia's population are literate, and so they know they are.
It's not business as usual.
Exactly.
I want to hear your policies.
So
what do you have for me?
That is the reason why this is going to be an interesting by-election, and we'll be watching. And I mean, this is what the numbers are telling us. The experts will give us the stories behind the numbers. And
we'll flip it. We'll take it from each slide from the beginning. But if I have my colleague Nana Boakye-Iyadom, we will take you to him at some point when he's ready to bring his update on what's happening on ground. If I have Nana Boakye-Iyadom. Nana Boakye, if you can hear me, where are you and what can you report? Nana, can you hear me?
I'm at the Topreman. Yes, please, I can hear you. I am at Topreman and currently at one of the busiest polling stations here at the Topreman community. And this place is having over 500 voters expected to cast their ballot this very morning. This is the Salvation Primary polling center where 554, exactly 54 voters are.
The network is not good to us this morning. We'll try and reconnect with Nana Boakye. I'll try again. Nana, if you can hear me, let's try again. Okay. While we reconnect with Nana Boakye, Dr. Doke, let me come to you. Earlier in our bulletin this morning at 6 a.m., my colleague Karen spoke to one woman in Akwatia who shared her sentiments about being into, she said, police for the doors, so her words, police for the doors into Mistro. That simply means there are too many police officers, so I'm not sure I'm going to go close to even the polling station. What's your assessment of the numbers? 5,500 has been a topical conversation, especially even for security analysts like yourself. Is there a balance? Was it necessary? Was it needed? Okay, so when you're talking about security, there are times you do a risk assessment, you analyze the situation in the past, the voting trends. You're looking at the current dynamics with our politics, by-elections for that matter, that command a lot of high stakes and tensions. We see a lot of political elites going in there, ideally, which shouldn't be so. So all these factors culminate to the police hierarchy deciding that they will increase the numbers. There is no situation that would warrant, let me put it this way. In security, you can't determine whether a small situation can escalate to a bigger one. So you don't take chances. Now, we are looking at an IGP who came in, and there's a lot expected of him. This elections, by-elections for me, is one of his biggest tests so far that determines whether he's going to stay on or not after his main tenure. Now, 5,500. Yes, some people have argued it's a lot too much, but you're looking at the aspect where they want to have command and control, cover every inch, corner of the areas. And that will enable them to respond quickly to emergencies and threats. So for me, I think 5,500 is an order, okay? So you take 5,500 by the 119 polling stations we have, you have about 40 plus men ideally, assuming that is the calculation they did, which is very much okay. So you can have out of the 40, you have the response mechanisms, response teams there who can then, curb any kind of threats. So those who are speculating that it's too much, I don't think it is, because you're dealing with an area which has now become, a lot of the polling stations have now become hotspots over time. And the whole area itself can go in flames if you don't take control of the area. So that woman who expressed her sentiments, probably after her expressing that sentiment, she should have been escorted to go and then vote. And that is why we need a lot of sensitization and education
from state institutions or TSOs that the presence of the police there or the security services is not to intimidate, but to encourage you to keep the peace, protect their ballots, protect they themselves, and then to what? Be a standing block between them and then those who want to foment trouble. And when that is done, the people will not have confidence. There will be some kind of trust that will build the people and the police, and then they will come out to vote. And one of the reasons why they went through the town was just because of this, for the people to know that they are in town and they are for them and not against them.
Dr. Asante, are you surprised by this woman's sentiments, and do you anticipate that it will influence the voter turnout? Do you think that, yes, would have high security presence so that people feel safe to go out and vote, but this may result in people thinking that, well, maybe the security persons have done their analysis and they think that it's quite a hot spot, so they would rather stay home. Will it impact it?
I don't think so. You see, places where they hold development dear to their hearts, they want to come out and vote and get a candidate who will bring development, right? So once they see that the place is calm and all that, for now, you will not see them tripping into the polls to, as it were, go and cast their ballot. They are just observing. But once they realize that everything is calm, you see them in their numbers going there. But remember also that it's not a place that, by election generally, you see people, the desire to go and vote and all that is slow. But they want to, if you listen to them, their concern is about development. So it doesn't, they are looking for somebody who can bring development. And I have also listened with a lot of disquiet about the NDC saying that, vote for our candidate and that we are in government will bring development. So I ask myself, if you are in opposition, does it mean that you are not entitled to development and all that? But that blame, I'll put it at the doorstep of the two political parties. They have always deprived themselves. If one is in government, the one in opposition, you will not be able to get development for your people. But that's unfair. Because if you read the Constitution, one of the clauses say that every nook and cranny of this country is entitled to a fair share of development in this country. So why are you denying people simply because you are in power and they are not? And the two parties are guilty of that. But one thing I want to also bring to perspective is that if you look at Akwatia, one thing that makes it interesting is that in political science we have enclaves within strongholds.
Okay.
They normally vote differently. Look at Asawase in the belly of what? MPP in Ashanti region, 47 consul, but Asawase always voting in another fashion. Akwatia is also so, all right? And when you have, migrants moving there and all that, it changes the dynamics.
Okay.
Interestingly, all that you're looking for is economic survival, all right? An issue of ethnicity and those things which do not even matter, don't come in at all. They are looking for their daily bread. Why have they traveled from Volta north to Akwatia? It's in search of what? Job and to make a living. So economic factors are critical as opposed to ethnicity and all those things. So,
Doc, hang in there for me. Let me take both you and our viewers to Tapraman, where my colleague Nana Boachi Yadom is on standby. Nana, what's happening?
Yes, clearly, Tapraman is where we are. The Salvation Primary Polling Center is where I am currently, where we are having over 500 voters expected to cast their ballots this morning in the by-election. And so far, the turnout hasn't been very impressive, but generally, security has been tight all over the community. This polling center and other polling centers at Tapraman are tied with heavy security. And you can see behind me that a number of people are joining the queue. They are in to cast their ballot. We've seen some party executives from the National Congress, especially the vice chair, the Eastern Regional Vice Chair of the NDC, has come here to inspect the process, and he has expressed a satisfaction with the process so far. We expect that the executives from the NPP side are also coming. NPP, just Bonkodia, the minority leader Alexander Fenyo-Markin, and other members of the NPP are currently at Bodria observing the process and are intel soon. But then we've been to Apreman also, and the process there is equally same. All of it has been smooth, and everybody in joining the queue has expressed satisfaction so far. 554 voters are expected, the clear number, 554 voters expected to vote at the Salvation Primary Polling Center where we are currently, MFR.
So much, Nana Boachiyadon, bringing us update from Topraman as well. You want to stay with us, we'll touch base with every one of our correspondents to bring you what's happening on ground. We'll not let you miss anything at all. But Kofi, we will get to the global info analytics data shortly. But Prof, let me take your, maybe let's just get to that research that was done. As of yesterday, the findings from the global info analytics data suggest that the NDC's candidate seems to be leading. What do you make of the overall optics of the change in candidates? Well, do you anticipate the people that chose the previous candidates taking a certain decision that may impact the result overall?
Yeah, so MFR, unfortunately, internal politics is quite dangerous than the inter-party politics. I mean, that is not supposed to be the case. You're supposed to belong to one political party, and so if it was your turn yesterday and it becomes someone else's turn today, ordinarily, it shouldn't have created any chaos. Yeah, but on the election day, on the primaries day, if you heard what some of the supporters of the losers were saying, I just prayed they were just saying for the sake of the moment. But if they actually carry it out, like some politicians do after they have lost a fairly contested election, then it is going to create some level of apathy in the NDC fold. Because you heard some of them saying, if you have skewed things in favor of lawyer B3, then we are also going to stay off, and all those things. Your journalists were on the ground, sent us some of those voice and recordings. So we just pray, and I'm sure, knowing very well what that could cause, the party leaders who engage the constituency have done their best to resolve it. In fact, that's at 3-4 days to elections, somewhere, I think last Thursday or so, there was this report I received of the final unity tour and all those things, trying to reconcile all those aggrieved fashions. Let's just hope that they forgive. Sometimes I wonder why internally people can't forgive and unite. But it happens. It happens in the NPP, it happens in the NDC, and they really sometimes carry it on to elections day. Some of them decide perhaps not even appear to vote. Instead of going to vote against his own candidate, he will decide, then I won't go and vote. We just hope it won't happen in this case, but it does happen. Seriously, it does happen in internal political contests and its outcomes.
Right, my colleague, Blessed Soga, spoke with the General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Frimpong-Kodi, and we're bringing you that now.
And then maybe in the afternoon we can make a proper assessment.
Yesterday there was a planned, engagement with the Peace Council, but the New Patriotic Party boycotted it you cited reasons for the NDC representation during that engagement. Shouldn't that be a cause to worry?
Why should it be a cause to worry? You should ask yourself, why should it be a cause to worry? The Peace Council sent a letter to General Secretary, invites NPP to come. We send our national organizer, our national youth organizer, our head of Security and Intelligence Committee, Honorable Henry Cote, only to attend that meeting and see Constituency Deputy Youth Organizer, Constituency Deputy Organizer. This is not an insult even to the Peace Council, and you are making the statement we boycotted it. Were you expecting us to stay there? Were you expecting us to stay there?
Well, some would say that that's why we're seeing, for instance, what we're seeing this morning, just a few minutes ago, some, skirmishes there at one of the polling centers. What actually happened?
What kind of skirmishes? Nothing happened. It's part of the election. So
they were complaining that you had taken down some posters and all of that.
But is it proper for a poster to be at the polling center? Is it proper? Answer me, is it proper? So if something is wrong, it is wrong.
It is wrong. Mr. Koda, what could be a fulfilling outcome for the New Patriotic Party at the end of?
Well, at the end of the day, at 5 p.m., when collation is done, you will see the results.
Will the NPP accept the outcome of this election, this by-election, regardless?
Why? What would be the reason for us to accept, and what would be the reason for us not to accept? See, you can answer. Huh?
Well, but what message do you have for the people of Akwatia? Peace is all we want. Is there a message for
Well,
them?
certainly we all want peace. We all want peace. No one wants violence, but we will not to be intimidated.
Have you spoken to the leadership of the NDC already because you felt insulted or slighted by yesterday?
We were not the one who called for the meeting. It was Peace Council. If Peace Council has any reservation or any issues, they should call the NDC. If it was our meeting, then the question you're asking would have come in. But it was the Peace Council that called for the meeting.
There's such a high deployment of security personnel. Some say, well, it's an intimidatory tactic. Some are complaining about it.
For us, we are okay. We don't have any issues with it. Our supporters, our voters, who wants to go and vote, will vote. And as we are here, have you seen any police personnel intimidating any voter? No. So if they don't have any hidden agenda, why should we be worried about the police presence? Or let the police are here to help in the NDC rigging machinery. If they are not here to do that, then we shouldn't have any issues with police personnel being here. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Justin Kodi and Frimpong there. Just speaking a while ago.
Well, I will come straight to you, Dr. Doke, on, you have just listened to that interview. Do you find any security gap, especially where it suggested that there were posters still around some voting areas, and then they decided to take it down? Right. What can you comment on this?
Yeah, we know the law speaks against having any sort of a party paraphernalia on the grounds of the polling stations. But ideally, the job or the role of citizens is not to take down those posters themselves. You taking down that poster itself is against the law. That's why you call the attention of the security personnel that this is wrong. Now, the security personnel will call the attention of the EC official there, and then they will take down the poster. But for any citizen who goes to take down any poster, the law can deal with you. Yeah, it is wrong. But the tonation, the language of the political elite is also a cause for concern. You understand? In this kind of situation, you don't need to speak in the manner that would sort of like incite, okay, and then increase the tensions. It's unnecessary. Now, we have the police people there. If you have any issue, you draw their attention to them. Now, I'm observing the number of so-called bodyguards around political elites when they visit the polling stations. That also increases some tensions. Now, we saw what happened in Ablekuma North, where an ex-MP went there. We had bodyguards and all of that. The young men, they trooped in. Now, this sends some kind of signal, okay? So if an opposition political elite goes to a stronghold of the NDC, well, what do you think will happen? Some misinformation may go out there, and then the youth will just gang up there. We don't need this. And I think it's high time we look at the aspect of political elites going to polling stations in the name of being agents. You've trained party agents who are already there. So what else do you need to go and say you are, parading the polling stations to see if everything goes well or not? I think it's becoming a norm, and it's becoming a security threat also, because what you go there to do is also a factor. And how many people you go there with, those bodybuild guys there, so if there's anything, you just tell them to act, and they act.
I will stay with you a little further, and then I'll come to you, Doug and Prof, later. So what's your assessment of the NPP's posture in terms of security? Now, prior to the D-Day today, they were of the view that they didn't have a lot of confidence in the police, especially because of they're assessing it by what happened in Ablekuma North rerun. Now, yesterday as well, the Deputy General Secretary mentioned that, they use the term Operation Firewall, which they say that it is within the remit of the law, that they have the power to defend themselves. This posture, and today, the General Secretary himself saying that, of course, the police, they have confidence in the police and all of that. If I was in your consulting room this morning, what would you be telling me, measuring the posture before and during today?
Well, it's very unfortunate. Now, if you realize the trend, when I'm assuming I'm in opposition, it's different the way I talk about the state security. When I'm in power, it's different the way I talk about the state security. So it's been that kind of blame game if I'm not in power. But if I'm in power, it's different. That is the case now. So if you have a political party saying they are not somewhat, confident in the security, what are the issues that you have drawn the attention of the hierarchy to? Have you sent those messages to the hierarchy? Has it been attended to or addressed? If not, there are so many channels that you can take, or so many channels that you can implement. Now, what happens is most of the political elites, because of the availability of, media and all of that, so any expression goes on it. But what they don't know is their followers carry it, and then that message resonates with them, and then they act upon it. For any political party to say they don't have confidence in the police, you must have some, evidence or something. Just send the evidence and then let the police act on it. But it's becoming some sort of a habit for the political elites to blame the police or blame the security services if things are not going their way. But when things go their way, they are calm, nothing untoward. But ideally, you're talking about a high-stake, by-election. And we've noticed what has happened before. And I don't think the police wants to sit down for what happened in Ablekuma North with, a few police stations going up, in chaos to happen again. And that is why we are seeing a number and the quantum of the seriousness, the assertiveness, the presence in there. So I don't think any group or political party should feel intimidated by the presence of the police. You don't expect the police to allow you, leeway into areas you're not supposed to. That is not going to happen. And when that happens, we should be measured in how we send the message, not to misinform the populace.
Doc, tell me, what do you say about the commentary so far? And are you already finding any lapses or gaps, especially because if we have this heavy police presence, and then it will take members of a political party to tear down posters? I mean, it's early hours.
That's unfortunate, as my colleague Doc said. I mean, there's a law. Laws are meant to regulate the conduct of people. They are the instrument for that exercise. So if something is wrong, you use the law to address. It's unfortunate that he himself is a lawyer, so he should have known better that you don't have to. Except that the group exercise restraint and all that. It could be something that you and I would not be happy to be talking about. But that said, I also find it strange for Electoral Commission to have allowed this thing to stay. It is their duty to go there. They are election management body. So they are responsible for the conduct of the election. And one of it is that you go around prior. That's why we have 3 stages of election. The pre-election stage, the election stage, the post-election. The pre-election stage is where you do all the preparatory work, get all materials ready, make sure that polling stations are fit for purpose and all that. So you clear this. You don't wait for a contender to come and pull down a poster and all that. It means that they check on their responsibility and that they must receive that flag. That aside, I am also not comfortable in this country where political parties have made elections do or die affair, and they always create tension and all that. If that thing, we don't deal with it head on in this country, a day will come, if we are not lucky, it will slip through our fingers. That if you look at all the trouble that they cause, it's not the ordinary member of the society, the cocoa seller, the watch seller. He has no business to go and then pull down posters and all that. The political actors,
right?
They are hypocrites, and that we are not able as a society. We have also acquiesced. We are not able to tell them in their faces that, look, what you are doing is wrong. During all the tension that we are experiencing now, do we need over 5,000 security people there for just a by-election? Do we need that? Then what happens to maybe 3 or 4 constituencies? Then we need Ghana Army to be there, or Ghana Police Service. It's a very easy exercise that if you think you have sold your ideas well and you have right messages that resonate with the people and you have a strategy to get the people to vote for you, that's it. But before this thing, they were promising us threats that we are going to what? Protect ourselves, we are going to arm ourselves and all that, forgetting that this country has an institution which responsibility is to keep the security of all of us, and we pay them. And when they come to office, they also strengthen them by supporting them. All right. Sometimes I feel so sorry for the police because we make their work so difficult that sometimes there is an incident, they want to arrest, and there's a problem. You touch one, the next day you are not going to have your daily bread. So the police, you see that sometimes their inactivity, you can also assign the reason to this because, hey, they are careful about this. But if we allow police a free hand to operate, I can tell you without fear of contradiction that they will perform and perform well. The political elite, political actors deliberately create a situation for them that it becomes so difficult to work. Sometimes I feel so sorry for the work that they do because we don't allow them a free hand to operate.
Prof, let's go back to the change of the representative for the NDC, and let's attempt to get into the minds of the NDC. I mean, I recall in 2016, one of the things that was cited why the NDC lost that seat was voter fatigue. Do you think that it was a simple political decision that, listen, the incumbent was not able to win the seat, whether it's still being contested in Parliament or in court or not, there wasn't a clear-cut win for them? Could that have been that it is mimicking 2016 when Baba Jamal lost and Amase had to win for them? And so they got the opportunity to change and make decisions. Would I be wrong? Would I be right if I think like this?
Yeah, MFA, you'll be right. In fact, in politics, whatever you do has some effect. Definitely, nothing goes for free in politics. So this change, I am very, very sure that if you don't get politically matured people, they simply won't be able to comprehend why Henry would do such a performance, close to winning, still convinced that he even won, contesting the case in court. And then the unfortunate happens, and he has to be contested by two other strong guys. Even Henry would be wondering why are people coming to contest, even though it is democracy. I'm sure Henry is matured, he is a politician, he knows he's going to be contested, but his followers, not many of them would be matured enough. And I'm happy you mentioned what happened to Baba Jama in the I think 2016. Yes. And what even happened to the NPP when they changed from Mesedu Jemfi to Ernest Kumi the first time.
Yes.
That gap, immediately you create, your opponent takes that as an opportunity. And if you are not lucky, you get punished for it.
Doc, let's talk about the political implications of people who are emotional. I mean, earlier, Dr. Sasanti believes that people sympathize, they mourn, they grieve, but when it comes to voting, they take the decision because of what? Do the policies benefit them? Do they belong to the enclave? Do they belong to a political party? That's simply it. I don't care whether you lost your mother or your father. I sympathize with you, I'm mourning with you, but it will not influence my decision. But looking at that constituency where Ernest Kumi comes from and his area where he even won the highest margin of vote, and the situation that has occasioned a by-election, it's not a rerun like that of the 2008, the situation that has occasioned the by-election, do you think that people are going to the polls very emotional? And what kind of security measures do you think you should be deployed for people who are emotional, who are mourning, who are grieving? It's not that he's even been buried anyway. He's just been what the traditional people say, 1 week celebration or 40 days observation. Do you think that the voters for his particular enclave are going the same voters, or they go with a certain emotion? And what should the police do to manage the situation? Okay,
I think politics, voting itself is an emotional activity. Because you lose, you're emotional. You win, you're emotional. Now, for the late MPs, supporters and those who are sympathizing with the party itself, security is generally for all, to the benefit of all, whether you belong to the party or not. So I think for them, the issue will stem from the fact that if they lose, especially in areas where they thought they should have won, and that is where the skirmishes may happen. And security also has been put in place for election, the counting and then hours after counting. That is very critical, because what happens after the counting itself is more important as before and during. So I think that's where the issue will come in. But for now, they all go in there and vote. I mean, everybody will go in there quietly and vote. So the security agency should just be on the lookout for, during and then the aftermath. Strongholds of the incumbent, stronghold of the opposition. That is what they need to focus more on, in areas where they've identified as flashpoints. Emotions will come in, as we saw just now on the screen. We don't know what it is about, but we'll go into it. So people who have a strong connection with the late MP or the party would get emotional when things don't go their way. And even if things go their way, they also get emotional. Emotional in the sense that they will try to do something to infuriate the losing side. And that's what we need to watch.
So it means that the polls, after the polls have closed, anything that happens after that is even a major security concern. I mean, considering what even happened in 2008, ballot snatching, people running away with it, and all of that.
So the aftermath is very important as.
Oh, okay. Dr. Sasanti, I am curious. Yesterday when we had a conversation with both parties here on the AM show, the NPP believes strongly that one of their strongest message for voters would be that don't choose the NDC candidate. You can't trust him. For political science, is this a message that can sell?
It's no message. It's no message. Trust. It doesn't. I am say for instance, I'm a farmer growing crops, and I need a marketplace to sell my crops. And somebody comes to promise me that give him the mandate, I'll build you a place to do your business. And somebody's come, and then his message is that don't trust this man, just vote. If you trust, a good job. I am looking forward to having the market where I can make ends meet. Remember, Dan has done a research saying that people are rational and they choose the things that satisfy their interest.
They cite the example that you were the person's lawyer, so they don't expect that you will now want to. They believe that he had access to privileged information, because this is electoral petition. You're petitioning the outcome of the results. And so the lawyer had privileged information and now has used that to be the one wanted to run the seat, contest the seat.
Irrespective of all these things.
It's politics, is it not?
Yes. The real thing that always change or sway voters is what is specific in their constituency and is of concern to them. If that place, Galamsey, is worrying farmers and who are in the majority, obviously they will gravitate towards a message that would deal with Galamsey head on. All right. So emotion, sympathy, and all that do not come in. Take, for instance, that emotional argument we were talking about, 2020, November, we lost Rawlings. The wife was contesting. Who voted for Nana Kunedu? Who voted for Nana Kunedu? I mean, I'm not reminding Nana Kunedu of this pain, but here you are. If it is about emotions and all that, Nana would have won. It tells you that, yes, Ghanaians sympathize with Nana Kunedu, that he has lost the husband, and all of us lost our president. All right? But they were looking for other things that will influence what? That will improve their lot. So in election, the rational choice theory reigns supreme.
And considering that over here as well, the literacy level is nearly 77%, and so the rationality would be very potent.
Yes, you can understand the dynamics there. You see, when he was giving statistics, he talks about the fact that these days the numbers are coming down. Do you know why? The great, consolidated diamond company is going down simply because of lack of investment and all that. So you have small scale and artisanal, mining that is going on. But the service industry, we've seen results improving. Do you know why? Because you have one of the best schools there, St. Rose's. You also have St. Dominic Catholic Hospital. Services are provided there, so it changes the dynamic. If you have also been a student of history, you know that the Krobos have always been on that area in Achimland for oil palm production, right? The colonial days, they were producing, labor was a problem to carry the barrels and all that, so they put it in the brim, and then the water will carry it away. They get to the end of the water, and then they carry them out. They were Yeah, so they live in Achimlanu for years. So I'm not surprised their numbers are increasing and all that. But I can tell you that all those things do not influence voter choices. Just the influence on that is very little.
Okay.
So that is why people harp on ethnicity. They harp on religion in this country. I said, those who are advising them, they've lost it. Those things do not win anybody any seat. Otherwise, one would have expected that any time we go for election in Akwatia, because the place is Achim area, we should get an Achim winning. Has it been the case?
No.
No. And that is how election is. It's the economy, bread and butter issue. And that one is national. It dovetails in any area. If the economy improves, it improves your life.
If it is bread and butter issue, Prof,
yes,
then clearly that argument of they look at the government or the sitting president to want to vote, then the NPP shouldn't even contest this at all, because then they'll believe that this proximity to the bread and butter is the government in power or the president in power.
Records, before you come in, records. The NPP just less office, and they put in a lot of things that are beginning to germinate, that we can't take it out. All right. In politics, there's always luck, that you can introduce a policy, it will not germinate during your era, and it comes in. I'll give you an example. All right. Buzia did a lot of homework. He did a lot of things, and the soldiers overthrew him. Achampum benefited and glorified himself that he has introduced ABC. When the real policy began to fail, he had no solution than to organize a week prayer and all that, which are pure, a week prayer. I don't get it.
I'm glad that you held yourself, dog. So, Prof, do you appreciate my argument?
Yes, I do.
Proximity to the bread and butter.
I do.
Plus, what really, but if the NPP candidate won in Parliament, what's the impact? Do they need the seat at all?
You see, so development is key, I agree. But we are all in this republic, and we know some time past when John Rawlings was coming, his stature, his looks alone, his handsomeness alone got people on the floor. And people advocated openly that they were going to vote for him because he's the most handsome. Ben Mapani, like you remember, I don't know how old you are, but
I probably was crawling, but I heard they were calling him Junior Jesus. Am I correct?
I knew some people in my area who simply can't help it upon seeing John Rawlings even on TV, and they voted for him. You remember the gentle giant, the gentle giant.
That'll be for Kufuor.
For Kufuor. So sometimes you have a section of the people who also go with the emotions and the non-bread and butter issue.
Is it significant?
It's not.
Anyway, I have not estimated that yet. But in elections, a single vote is as important as the 100 votes.
Do you suggest that the findings from the Global Info Analytics, and Kofi, thank God you're here, the projection that the NDC candidate might just win at the time that they collected the data, at the time that they brought the findings, in 24 hours or maximum, say, 48 hours, anything possibly can change?
Right. I see the issues as standard issues. So in by-elections, development becomes the topical and the most winnable campaign message, because then you have the president already in place, and you may want to tilt towards, like you said, proximity. Who do we send to the president, and who gets it done? It would better be the NDC, the person whose president is already in place. So development is key. Check the track record. All the by-elections we've had since 1992. It's been development for the candidate in government, and then other issues for the candidate in opposition. But it hasn't been confirmed from 1992 that always the incumbent PC wins. And that is why I go for other reasons other than the development being the key. In Akwatia, for example, I'm sure, yes, they care about development, but if you saw some of the sound bites that people sent, some of the citizens are saying that, yes, we need development, but we trust that Solomon can also bring us development. It is still development, but it doesn't necessarily then translate into saying that it's an automatic win for. That's why you see the polls still close, and you check the history of Akwatia, it's been close like that. You go to Akwatia Township, and the NDC is doing well. You come to Wenche, and the NPP is doing well. And Doctor was talking about if the results begins to come and we see some of the expected to do well, NDC side begin to change, or the expected to do well, NPP side begin to change, then scrutiny must come in, because people may think that, but
it's expected that
yes, where your gentleman was, it's a blooded MPP area. How come the results coming from there and they begin to? So I think that development is standard. It is the rational position, but we know ourselves sometimes. We look at other things. And even when we go for development, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person whose president is in place is the one to bring the development. And I heard the Akwatia people saying that, yes, this guy, we know him. He has employed about 5,000 people. He can bring us the development we want. If a certain lady said, let's just send him there to go and take salary. And that is Ghanaian. Some Ghanaians are like that.
Right.
But of course, I agree, perhaps not in the majority. And I also agree that development is supposed to be the topical for a by-election.
I have a follow-up question for both of you, but let me go to Isaac and we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
We're on which of the slides now?
I think we need to look at the factors that people will be looking at to vote, and that will help with our conversation. It's very important that we are bringing in all the elements. In a by-election, you don't have to take any determinant out. Everything is so important. Maybe not as significant, but people also vote on those tangents. And as you can even see, this pie chart alone tells you why Akwatia NDC has won since 1996, 4-4, right? So this will be a tiebreaker if my memory serves me right. So that tells you that just look at close about half of that is Akan, and half is also, close about half is also other tribes. It tells you why there is that swing and that bellwether nature of Akwatia. But, Global Info Analytics were on ground and they try to understand what will, people look at in terms of the voting. And this is what we have it. And as you can see, the first one, complete outlier in terms of comparison to the other factors or other determinants. And just like our guests have said, they are looking at development projects. Why? Because this is a by-election. And they have seen what went on in Nigeria. They've seen, they've seen what went on in, Kumewu. They've seen other areas where when there are by-elections, the political parties move there or the government moves there to do development. Already we have seen them enjoying the DVLA office that was actually, opened by the president during the weekend. And so that's why it's important that they are talking about development projects being number one, because of the precedents we've created for ourselves that if there's a by-election, that constituency must have immediate development. And so it's important, and that's why you see that being number one. One key reason why that is number one. But economy, definitely not number one, but number two. 15% also says that bread and butter issues are so important to them, and they will be voting on that tangent. There are people who are also still considering education, jobs, 10%. Galamsey, we know the Apinaman forest is one that is also being affected by illegal mining. Also, people are looking at that as well. Party affiliation is about just 4%. And empathy, we've all heard about whether we have sympathy votes and all of that. That is not really counting per what we are gathering from Global Info Analytics, data. That's about 4%. Popularity of the candidates, about 2%. Healthcare, 2%. And in fact, with the NPP, they decided to bring Bernard to the contest because they said that he's a miner. Many have said that, well, he is into mining. He knows a lot of people. He's been able to employ people. And as you can see, the jobs, 10% also looking at that. The NDC have also done their homework and possibly have seen this reasons or this data and have also chosen a candidate in the primaries that they did. And that will also be important. But MFA, let's look at the probability of both MPP and NDC winning by-elections. It's very important. If you hold all other factors constant, this will be a 34th by-election and Tamale Central will be a 35th. But in terms of the probability of winning. You have MPP winning 17 out of the 33 by-election, NDC 15, and the parliamentary, an independent candidate winning 1. So just by using that data and holding all other factors constant, the probability of MPP winning a by-election in Ghana, if you run the figures, is about 52%. 52%, that's the probability of MPP winning by-elections in the country. NDC is around, I think, 45%, and independent candidates winning is also around 3% or so. So just by using that data, you will see that MPP are slightly ahead when it comes to winning by-election. And the reason why we need to bring this in the picture is because you need to look at when those by-elections occurred. That is also a key factor here. Let's look at by-elections since the first parliament to the 8th parliament. And just like you can see, majority are concentrated in the 3rd parliament, the 4th parliament, and the 6th parliament. And you know those who were in power around that time. The first parliament was the NDC. There were four by-elections in there. And then also you come to the 2nd parliament, 2 by-elections. So both the 3rd and 4th parliaments have had more by-election, and 6th parliament have had more by-election than any other parliament that we've had in our history. And in fact, we are just about 8 months into the life of the 9th parliament, and we expected to have 2 by-election. It will be interesting to see who wins. But this is, this is contributing to the data that we saw. Now let's walk you through some of the outcomes and ask ourselves whether incumbency plays an important role in here. Because why? We know by-elections have played an important role. It was through by-election that Muntaka Mubarak actually came to parliament. It's through by-election that we had Dominic Nitiwo. So although many have said that, why don't you just let the person, the party that was in power or the party that won the main election just choose somebody to continue? Many have said that let it be a fair playing ground, let people contest for us to get the best, because by-elections have proven to get very good products for the country. And you see, I mentioned Muntaka, and then also Dominic Nitiwo, who went as high as becoming a defense minister, and we've also produced an interior minister out of by-elections. And so that is also important. But there are those who have said that if you don't consider the security aspect, by-elections will leave an indelible mark on that constituency. It may have been a very peaceful constituency, but what may happen during the by-election will turn the constituency around, like a place like Ayawaso West Wogon was very peaceful until that by-election that became a bit bloody, and we also the reports also there. But let's walk through some of the important by-election, look at the incumbency and then the person who won the by-election. So Akwatia, that was a rerun in 2009. NDC, not really a by-election anyway, but NDC was in power. For some months, and then we had to do some rerun. MPP, although they were in opposition around that time, was able to win that Akwatia. They won the 6 polling stations and won that seat for the MPP. Tripoli in 2009, NDC in power, NDC also won. Talensi 2015, NDC in power, NDC won. And Ayawaso West 2019, we saw MPP in power and MPP also winning around that time. And so if you look at the by-elections that we've had, if you look at the party that's in power, it plays a significant role, because we've all seen how by-elections are actually tied to development projects, because there is that perception that once you have by-elections, you have immediate development, and people based on that to vote. And you know where development will come from. It's the government of the day that will bring those developments, and people will consider those factors and also vote. And so you see it there that incumbency also plays an important role, but there are constituencies that will still vote the other way, even though that party may not be in power. And so that is the history of by-elections in the country, where we've had about, let's say, roughly 33, and MPP winning about 52% of the by-elections that we've had so far. This is our 34th by-election, and many have said that that will also play an important role. Looking at the numbers in general, it will have an impact on Parliament. Many have said that why the NPP, you don't even have 100 members of Parliament. Why do you need this? They need this to tell or to put a message across that they can still win elections, even though they lost heavily in the presidential election and also the parliamentary election in the main election in 2024. So whatever the case, this is a very consequential by-election that we have on our hands, MFA.
Well, we'll pick up on that part of the conversation, Kofi. But on your screen now is the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tetayevnu. You've seen him on ground. I will be engaging Dr. Doke that the optics, what you see, what does it mean?
Well, it tells us that they're in charge. So far, so good. The day is still young. Now, for the big man himself to, go through town, I saw him interacting with the EC official.
If you can just give me a minute, we'll just listen to him and then we'll come back to you.
And then elect the rightful person that will lead them in their constituency.
We're hearing varied figures of the number of men you've deployed. Can you give us some?
5,000 plus 5,000.
Is there any reason for that number? It's quite high.
Your guess is as good as mine.
The IGP, and of course, some of the it's going to be a very long also we are knowing that of course as it's now the workers and process in this call going to some of the polling stations.
Inspector General of Police going around on ground in the Akwatia constituency, at least checking how the process is going so far. That's what you see on your screen currently. This is your election headquarters. We bring you every detail. We don't want you to miss not even a second of today's very important by-election that will see either the NPP or the NDC, at least one of them, headed to take that seat for the unfortunate demise of Ernest Iyao Kumi. But Doc, you were on telling me that it tells me that they're in charge.
Yes.
Coming from the Ablikuma North rerun, people say that it is a re-auditioning, a re-capacity assessment of the IGP. Do you agree?
Yes. So in every situation, if it goes sour, like we had in Ablikuma North, you sit down and then you assess, okay, your strengths and weaknesses, what went wrong, and then you try to correct it. So in this case, they've learned their lessons very well. And I see this as a true blueprint of what happened in Asin North some time back, where the police presence was heavy in there. The IGP himself then visited the area. And it's good it motivates his men, okay, to even perform better. Now, prior to that, we saw some, a lot of confusion with regards to a gentleman who was being whisked away into the Black Maria. The police have so far exhibited assertiveness, which is very good. Now, I always maintain anybody who flouts the law, just pick him up, and that's it, whether NDC or NPP. It is high time. We cannot let these two political parties dictate with regards to the security of the nation, okay, with the accusations or whatever. There are rules that must be followed. And I earlier on stated that the presence of political elites trying to, assess the voting areas is something we should look at. So I'm very happy, if they stopped the, party elite from assessing the area, it is very good. It should apply to even the incumbent officials also. So we won't have accusations levied against the state security and all of that. So I think so far it's been good. The momentum should be maintained till the latter. And I hope IGP and his men would also be in the area after everything.
Do you have any idea, or do you have a fair idea of what the Operation Firewall will look like for the NPP? What do you think they're describing as Operation Firewall? Well,
it pertains to you not having access as much as you want. Yeah. And the issues that they have expressed, okay, allegations levied against the state police and whatnot. And the issue about, I heard something yesterday, the operations manager of the national security also being there and all of that. So it adds to all these kind of, accusations and whatnot. But ideally, as I said earlier on, have they been able to relay their concerns very well? Okay, and it also ties to trends. We've seen trends. If it was the NDC who was in opposition, they would also say similar things. So it's something that the political elites are playing around with each and every time things don't favor them. Now, you expect that any political party who has witnessed defeat before would take lessons. And since they are in power, they would block all loopholes. Yeah. And that is what they are doing. Okay? If it was the MPP, they would also do same. So it's just, they know the game, they know what they are doing, but we need our institutions to be independent and resilient. Can we allow them to do so? And in this case, this election, by-election, is going to tell a lot. Tamale Central is coming up.
Yeah. Okay,
well, one party says they are not contesting, so that is a foregone conclusion. But the aftermath, and even going into 2028, lessons learned from here will be replicated in 2028. I think we need to do well.
Doc, from the 33 by-elections that we have had, and I'm not adding the reruns, I'm specific on the by-elections, it would seem to me as though the MPP knows how to win by-elections.
So many factors come in. It's not necessarily the party winning, but what are the factors? If the economy is improving and there is a by-election, there is every reason to believe that people will give you the votes. But if, say, you are in the third year, the economy is failing.
Doug, please give me a minute. I will take all of us to my colleague Jacqueline and Sumaya. Jacqueline, any updates for us?
Well, Hemefa, so currently I'm at Kusi, which is one of the polling centers here in Akwatia. Now, with this place, we have roughly around 7 polling centers in the Kusi area, which is just close by Takasi. But then I have the presiding officer of one of the polling centers in Kusi with me here. Kindly join me here, sir. Now, how many voters are expected here? 500 voters. Oh, okay. And so far, out of the 500, how many people have casted their votes?
69. And you can see that the queue is
very long.
When I checked, 69 who have casted their votes.
Oh, okay. So for you, you think that the voter turnout is okay for you?
Sure. Because when we started, it was slow, but now they are trooping. So we pray that all of them can come around and come and cast their votes.
Okay. And what's the name of this center?
Kusi Presby Primary.
Okay, Kusi Presby Primary. All right, sure. Thank you very much, sir. I'll engage you. All right, so MFA, that's the presiding officer of this very center. We've been just moving around the areas here in Kusi, but I'm likely to go back to Takasi where we spoke earlier, where I told you that that is the area where the NDC candidate comes from. He hasn't casted his vote yet, but then I've been informed that he will be there very soon to cast his vote. MFA.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline Osumaya, for bringing us updates. 500 people in the queue are expected to vote there.
MFA, so we have the MP for New Jabin here. Honorable, you've been here. How long have you been here in this area?
I'm here for the past 3 hours.
Okay, and your observation so far?
So far, so good. Just that the voter turnout is also getting poorer like the election day. But we hope and believe that more people will come out to vote.
So, okay, so far, have you heard of any, disturbances in any of the other centers?
No, I've been dispatched to see.
Oh, okay.
From my briefing, we've not had any disturbances.
Okay.
And there's maximum security here, so I think the elections is going to be peaceful.
Okay, all right, sure. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, all right. Okay, so we're still here at the polling center here at Kusi. As I said, there are 7, very minimal numbers here. But then, even though there are 7, there are a lot of numbers that are expected at these various centers right here in Kusi. MFA.
Right, thank you so much, Jacqueline. Thank you for bringing us update from Kusi. But we look forward to you visiting the NDC's candidates' voting center as well, and where he also comes from for updates. Thank you so much. Now back in the studio, Doc, I was saying that if I look at the numbers